Recording in progress.
Like he's
Welcome
already
back,
feisty.
son of a Nick. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another installment of No Place Like Homaha. I'm your host, JD Wonder, alongside Nick Hendricks and Mikey Love. Ladies and gentlemen, it is about that time. Conference baseball is starting.
Championship baseball is starting.
Conference baseball is starting.
It's already
Nick.
Conference tournament.
Nick.
Yeah.
okay.
Get wrecked on.
Looking at what we got. What do we have?
I say we start with the best conference in the entire country.
No, we have
Pac-12?
to save.
Yeah, Pac-12.
If it's okay,
Pac-12.
We'll start with the worst.
Go ahead and start with the Pac-12 then.
Start with the
All
worst.
right.
Yeah.
So as it's looking here, so the Pac-12 has seedings as well for pools. So as the pool seedings come out, you've got Pool A is Oregon, Cal, and Stanford. And then for Stanford is the number one overall seed in that. Going into Pool B for the Pac-12, Oregon State got the second spot. For Pool B, it's Arizona, Arizona State, and Oregon State. And then for Pool C, Washington comes out as the 3 seed in the tournament. They have UCLA and USC in that as well. So how those come out for games, game number 1 is between Arizona State and Arizona. Game number 2, UCLA, USC, and then Cal and Oregon square off, and they have pool play as well. So it looks like the best ones that come out of each pool play each other, because you've got a bottom tier and a top tier as well.
Yeah, it'll be the best, like whoever wins their pool will come out.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I had to guess, they'll probably just do the best team, like whoever has the best. I don't know at that point. Because if all 3 go 2-0, if your 3 teams go 2-0, you're gonna have most likely either 2 teams that go 1-1 or a team that goes 1-1 and 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how you're gonna fill that 4th spot.
It's still not as confusing as the ACC, but it's a little bit of a change from last year since they expanded. So basically,
hold on, let's see.
I'm just kind of looking at this here. So as I know, the pool plays are it's so confusing. The ACC is worse. For all those waiting to see Josh's brain,
the wild
just
card will be
mollywopped.
determined by the best record of the non-advancing teams.
Okay.
Any tiebreaker will be awarded to the highest seeded team. That's fucked.
Damn.
So basically, in a perfect world here, because we'll go with that. So starting off, I would assume out of Pool A, Stanford would probably take that. They've been on a hot run here the last couple of weeks. And especially when you're battling with Cal and Oregon, even though Oregon is a very good offensive team, Stanford has just ran through with the Pac-12. I would say them and Oregon State would be your first 2 top seeds to come out for the semifinals. And then you would just have to be looking at, what'd you say, who comes out with the best record overall after that for the wild cards?
No, so there's 3 winners. You get each pool winner and then a wild card.
Oh, yeah, there is 3 pool winners. I forgot.
And the wild card goes to
either whoever has the best overall record
or if it's a tiebreaker, then the higher seed.
Yeah, so like you could be USC, go 1-1, and be tied with the other 2 teams in the other pool and still go. Like that's just, I feel like that's fucked.
I mean I feel like that rewards them the regular season.
Yeah,
a little bit more. But
I feel like it'd be almost more fair to be like run differential then. Who scored the most runs or who gave up the least amount of runs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
that's our first one.
I would assume, are we going to try to make predictions to see who comes out on top of tournaments, or are we going to?
I mean, we can't, so I got to
come out of the entire tournament?
No. Like just winners of each tournament.
Yeah, winners of the conferences that we go over.
Yeah, winner of the entire tournament.
Yes. to confuse all our fans at home. I would probably say I think Oregon State can come out on top on this. I think Stanford's a great team, but I think Oregon State's been playing some pretty good baseball down the stretch.
Right.
When the Beavers get sniffing on Omaha, they really like to shut
That's
out
a
when it
really
comes to
weird way to phrase that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, sorry, that was just not
I do
the
agree
route I
that
was trying to go.
that is a safe bet to go with.
All right. Who's going here?
I think
Is it me?
yeah, you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
There's gonna be a hot take.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be Stanford, Washington.
In the championship?
Yeah. I think
Ooh.
Washington's gonna come out.
Okay.
Well, I like it. All right. Both Mikey and I kind of in the case of how the season went, both of us picked underdogs because Oregon State got swept under the table by Stanford this year, but they had the win over the Washington series.
I hate this conference.
I know. Mikey's just trying to
On to the next one.
Josh, what's your pick?
I think Washington comes out of that side of that bracket. Oregon
Stanford
State comes out of there.
So that that's important to know, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, all the higher seeds, they get
1, 2, and 3.
Technically a bye. Yeah, in the first. Yeah. But they'll all play each other. It's round robin because it's 3 teams.
Well, yeah, it's round robin, but you gotta think like each team that those 1, 2s, and 3s play is gonna play a team that's gonna be coming off of a series. So whether or not it's good or bad, they'll have some momentum.
I want to pick the dark horse of Oregon making it out too.
Say some crazy shit right here, like say California and Arizona.
No, I don't see why not. I will go a little wild here. Let's go Oregon. Comes out all of a sudden. Oregon? Somehow. They come out of there and they just win it.
All right, so a 6 seed for Josh, 2 seed for me. Mikey picks a 3 seed coming out on top.
Crapshoot here.
Not bad. Okay. So let's go ahead
and
move on.
No more Pac-12. Get this conference out.
Let's go Big Ten because I feel like that's going to be. I'm saving the ACC for last because I don't want to blow my brains out yet.
It's okay. The Big Ten's a little bit easier to follow.
Yeah,
they follow a traditional tournament.
Yep.
And oddly enough, Purdue gets the number 1 seed out of the Big Ten tournament when it was pretty much a dead tie between Maryland and Indiana for the majority of the year. Purdue comes out on top as that number 1 seed, so they got a first round bye. The top 4
tournament. Pause.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Time out.
Never mind. That's basketball.
Yeah, I was gonna say, whoa.
Wow.
Maryland's the number 1 seed, bud.
Which double timeout? Purdue's not even in this tournament.
Yeah, no, they're not ranked.
Just disregard the unfactual information.
That's bad. That was terrible.
I didn't even look. I looked and saw it. I was like, wait, that's a
You were saying Purdue, and I'm not even seeing them in this bracket. So I was like, what am I looking at?
Okay, yeah. So I started listening. I was like, yo, what?
All
Anyways, looking in ahead.
Moving on. So now that we have the factual information out, which I do, Maryland is the number 1 seed. Indiana stays at the 2.
Iowa's number 3.
Nebraska 4. Rutgers 5. I think that Nebraska could definitely come out.
Michigan 6 and Illinois 7.
Yeah. And then Michigan State at the bottom. Yep. I think that Nebraska could come out of this first game against Rutgers. And then obviously I see them playing Maryland in the second game if that would so happen, unless Michigan State decides to just come out and be an upset. I just think that Big Red has been playing some really good baseball. They've been swinging it well. Their offense has been one of the best in program history. Bullpen in the back end is just going to be what does it to them. And that usually kind of comes out, especially in tournament play, where they just don't have the depth in the bullpen to be able to get them that far. However, they could shock us. I mean, the back half has been pitching really well in the last 2 series to get wins over Purdue, and then a sweep over Purdue, I believe, and then the win over Penn State to knock them out of contention for the tournament. So
I honestly could see
here.
Yep. Go ahead. You go ahead.
Out of the Big Ten,
he's picking Illinois.
No, I'll probably go Indiana. I'm on a 2 seed kick today. I'm going to go with Indiana taking it over Maryland and getting the bid.
I have to disagree. I think Iowa will probably knock out Indiana. I want to say that they've been playing decent baseball going along, and I think that they would knock them out. But I can't stand by Nebraska after last season. It's just really tough to do. So I think Maryland's gonna take it and win.
I'm gonna disagree. I think Maryland's gonna get snubbed again because they're not winning this tournament. I think Iowa's gonna. I hate to say it, but I think it's gonna be an Iowa-Nebraska tournament.
There you go.
Wow, you think it's gonna be a semi
for the border here?
Battle for the border, baby.
I like it.
With Iowa winning, I think, and Maryland's gonna get snubbed again.
I see, but here's my thing. I think that Maryland made it last year. They didn't. I don't believe they won. No, they did win the Big Ten tournament. Rutgers won the regular season. Out. No, Maryland made it last year. Rutgers was the one that got snubbed. Yeah, because they had the entire year.
They were like 44 and something, and then they didn't make it.
Yeah. So I think it'll be interesting to see. And that also raises the question with that too, is out of some of these tournaments, if you win the regular season and don't win out, like in D3, you saw a couple of teams make it through that just automatic bid of winning the regular season. So they got the at-large, not the automatic. What teams that aren't SEC or Big 12 make it through on that at-large bid from winning the regular season outright?
How many conferences do you have?
A lot. Because we're not even going to go through like 90% of the conference tournaments that are happening. So, I mean, last year, and we can take a look at and see if I can pull up last year's brackets, or at least last year's regional.
Which means you've got 30 automatic bids. And then you've got, 25 of the top rankings?
Mm-hmm.
So, in a perfect scenario, you've already got 55 slots filled of the 64. So, who are going to be the remaining 9?
Some of the ones that have been ranked, I feel like, throughout the season.
Yeah, that's where your at-large bids come in. And most of the time, like I said, those teams are going to be either filled by the SEC, the Big 12.
Yeah, because I was going to say the Big 10 hasn't been really.
No, they won't. The SEC won't get at larges. I feel like because 3/4 of that conference is ranked. Only one winner is going to come out. I mean, of all the SEC teams that are ranked, you got to think every one of those, the ones that are ranked, are in.
I would imagine so, yeah.
And the ones that aren't, I mean, you don't want to just automatically write them off, but if they're not ranked and they're in the SEC, it's probably for a good reason. Unless you're a team like a Georgia or, maybe an Alabama or of some form or something. Well, Alabama's in this week.
Yep.
So that's what I think.
I do agree with Mikey on that. It'll be interesting to see what teams get snubbed out last year because everybody, and we even talked about it last year, Rutgers getting snubbed out, I think, was one of the biggest shams of that entire tournament. You get a 40-win team, wins out the regular season, and then comes in, they get one slip up in the conference tournament. And yes, I know you have to win the conference to get that automatic bid, but still, when you were ranked for the majority of the second half of the season, pushing up for a potential top 10 spot, and then you drop one series or you drop one game at the end of the year like that, to me, that's just saying something.
Right, but at the same time, too, the team that made it in ahead of a lot of those teams that got stepped out was Ole Miss. They were the last ones in, and then they ended up winning it all. And so that's what's kind of challenging to look at is you do have those SEC schools that are, obviously the bottom part of their like conference and stuff like that, but you got to understand the talent that they're facing, just like we just said.
Yeah.
Almost all of them are ranked.
Agreed.
And a vast majority in the top 10. So
no, that one's false.
I wouldn't say, vast majority is.
You've got 3 SEC teams in the top 10.
Huh?
You have 3.
Well, mine's old. This is as of May 16th. But.
Okay, so I have the most updated ranking as of yesterday, basically. And this video will get out tomorrow because we'll make this top priority after tonight. your top 5 or your top 10 teams are Wake Forest, Florida, Stanford, Arkansas, LSU. So there's 3 in the top 10. Clemson, Coastal, Vandy, UConn, and then Oregon State rounds out that top 10 spot.
Okay, so 4.
It's 4 of them. And then going out through the rest of the top 25, you got Tennessee ranked at 13.
Kentucky's still ranked.
Yep, you got Auburn at 19. Where did I pass through? Past Kentucky. Kentucky is down at the bottom at 25. Maryland's up at 24, which we already talked about them. Alabama's sitting there at 24. So, I mean, you have 1, 2, 3,
8.
Or, eight teams out of the SEC that are ranked in the tournament. And, I mean, we can –
8 out of 12. There's 12 teams in the SEC. The 4 teams that are Missouri, Texas A&M,
so just
Georgia.
Vast majority in just the top 25.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can hop over the – sorry, go ahead.
Who?
What?
Where's South Carolina? Are they not ranked anymore?
No, South Carolina's been dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
South Carolina
they dropped a few series. So
yeah,
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So and that now begs the question because we'll throw it over to the SEC bracket. Florida ends up winning the SEC regular season.
Oh yeah, fuck us with the Big 12. I know we all.
Yeah, I was going to the Big 12 because I was just working across.
I don't even know.
Sorry, we can go there. Yeah, we'll go Big 12. Might be.
But
my bad.
Yeah.
So we running with the Big 12 next?
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
Okay. I'd say in kind of the championship game, I think this K-State team, I think that they're actually pretty decent. I mean, last time they faced TCU, they beat up on them a little bit, and I think that they can beat that Texas team. So I think they come out of that side. But I think Oklahoma State comes out of their side and wins the Big 12.
Oklahoma State wins the Big 12 for you?
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
I think you will see Texas because they've kind of turned it on. I hate to say it because horns down, but
you said 2 disrespectful things, Iowa and Texas.
I know, but I think it's going to be a Texas-West Virginia championship.
See, that's where West Virginia
come out.
That West Virginia team started to show some chinks in the armor when they were playing this past. I mean, Texas whooped on them when they played them.
Yeah.
So I think that Oklahoma State team, first of all, they little brothered Oklahoma when they played them. So I think they'll come out of that first game pretty well. But otherwise, I mean, West Virginia can't have a cast out game against Texas Tech to start. And so I think that Oklahoma State pulls ahead and wins and then just kind of carries it to the championship.
I would agree with you on the fact that this K-State team could potentially be very interesting to watch.
That's what I'm saying. They're dangerous.
Yeah, because I mean the games against TCU, as I'm pulling up the schedule from this last weekend, if my computer mouse wants to actually decide to function correctly. From what I saw, I mean the games were
they played them tight.
Yeah, it was super competitive. TCU ends up winning the series though, but I mean throw out the 8-1 game on Friday afternoon or Friday evening. I mean, this game, it was a 4-3 series again, or 4-3 cleanup game on Saturday, and then the first game was a 7-6 game. I mean, I would think that first round game between TCU and K-State is probably going to be anybody's game. I would love to see K-State go out on that and run the table, because that would just be nice to see what they can do through this tournament. But then Texas, and sadly enough to say, I mean, they have a pretty easy game against Kansas coming up on their first half of the series, and they absolutely dominated Kansas in a sweep or in a series win for the last 2 games. I shouldn't say dominated in the last one. It was 7-6, but
watch.
Kansas
have to shock the nation.
Kansas is coming out.
I might actually have to go. I might have to go with Mikey on this. I think Texas is a very, very good team. But I think it'll be a Texas West. I think it'll be a Texas West Virginia, but I got Texas coming out on the other end of this. The way
Texas fan choosing Texas.
I'm reading off the numbers, and it was a shaky middle half of the season a little bit, but I mean, coming out on 4 out of 5 Big 12 series wins in the last couple of weeks, especially a big season-ending sweep over West Virginia. I mean, that's pretty tough to beat. But the last time that Texas won the regular season last year, Oklahoma came out and ended up beating them, and then obviously they made it to the semifinals, or they made it to the finals of the College World Series. So,
well, here's the question then: for
Yeah.
West Virginia, do you come out and throw your number one?
They got Texas Tech.
Kind of expecting if you win that you'll play Oklahoma State.
That's the thing too. That's why I'm saying is like it can't be a castaway game where it's like, oh, it's not like a Kansas where it's like you can kind of, trust your day 3 or day 4 starter to go out there and be like, if we do get in trouble, we can use them as emergency. Because it's like if Texas Tech gets the momentum early, they could put them down.
I'm looking here. I would honestly say that it wouldn't even be a castaway throwing Hampton in game 1, because looking at Hampton's stats this year, he's got 76 innings pitched. Batting average against him is a 278. He's got a 4 ERA. But I mean, so far throughout the season, he's looked pretty good. He's kept West Virginia in the top of the Big 12. They obviously got number 2 after this weekend where Texas kind of put some runs on them. But I mean, I would think that you could get away with throwing your game 2 starter against Tech. Just because we know how good Texas Tech's offense can be and has been in the past. I just don't think that they have the same momentum, and especially since over the series this year, West Virginia with a series win. In game 2, it was a 17-2 victory, and then 5-3 in game 3. And I'm trying to get the box score here for that game 2 to see who threw for West Virginia. It was a different pitcher for West Virginia. But no, I think you could be okay with throwing your game 2 starter, especially if it worked already against Texas Tech. You might as well, and then save number 1 for Oklahoma State if that's how everything goes.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you throw him for a wrinkle here? Start a bullpen guy, let him go 2 innings, and then bring the starter out.
Like an opener?
Like that, yeah. I mean, I think statistically, starters who come out of the bullpen don't do great. But if Texas Tech has already seen your game 2 guy,
the IQ level on that is there. I like that play. I think that could be, well, like you said, that's the major fact that you got to watch out for. Starters coming out of the pen, especially in like games like these, sometimes don't tend to do as well as you would think or as well as you would want. So you're kind of looking at a devil's advocate here, because everything points you to say, yes, we're going to start game 1 with our main guy, and then we should still be okay for game 2. But it also is a matter of which West Virginia team after this weekend and a couple of their series, which one decides to show up. But I mean, like I said, they've been rolling in hot through college baseball for a while. You're still at the moment, you're still ranked within the top 25. If I can find them, they're 21 now. Wow. After the series sweep from Texas, they dropped back far from 6 all the way down to 21. So, but yeah, there's a Big 12.
Okay. So then now we can go to the SEC if
All
you
right.
want to.
That's fine.
So their first round is single elimination,
which is interesting.
So they'll have the lower, so 1 through 4 seeds have a bye, and then those bottom seeds will play in elimination games. So Georgia has South Carolina, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Alabama, Kentucky, and then Mizzou and Auburn. They'll play each other. Advance next round. I think looking at it, so it's weird. So then they have the second, third, and fourth round are double elimination based on previous record. Then the semifinal is a single elimination, and then they have a championship.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
So,
and everybody knows that the SEC coming in is always this tournament is one of the most fun tournaments to watch in college baseball, because I mean that environment down there gets electric.
Do they all
Who-
play this one at the same place? Oh, they
Yeah, it's held in Hoover,
Hoover
Alabama,
Hoover Met Stadium.
which it's been
Whose is
held
that?
there for years.
do. Is that just a conference tournament site?
Yeah.
Must be.
Um,
Yeah, but looking at it too, I honestly
Oh,
think.
this one starts tomorrow.
mhm.
Yep.
So does the Big Ten.
Yep.
Oh.
I honestly think that Arkansas could pull it out and win. However, I don't know how they'll fare if Tennessee is able to face Texas A&M and win without having to use Dolander, and they can use him against Arkansas. Because Chase Dolander's no joke.
Mhm.
Now, Arkansas lineup is scrappy, but I think that if they wheel him out, then Tennessee will be good enough to get them into the losers bracket. But otherwise, looking at it, I mean, I think that Arkansas has the best chance out of it. Obviously, we've talked about LSU having their struggles at times. Same with Vanderbilt. And I mean, Florida as well. Florida all of a sudden jumped up to the number 1 seed.
2 seed.
They're
No,
number 1
Florida's
seed
number
in
one.
the
Oh, in
SEC
the tournament? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, LSU. And that's the thing that we've talked about. And we'll say it time and time again. I mean, defense will win you championships. LSU's defense this year has not been.
Defense and bullpen has been their struggle. For a lot of those teams that have struggled, you can see those are the holes, because I feel like every single one of these guys has fantastic bats in their lineup. 1 through 9 are solid hitters. May have a few cracks in between that, but otherwise really solid.
Mhm.
Did LSU and South Carolina get a game canceled?
Yes.
Because they're the only 2 teams that not have 30 games in conference.
Yeah, that game got postponed, and it did not get made up.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and that's the biggest thing I think for LSU on why Florida jumped up. You look at LSU before this Georgia series, you drop back-to-back SEC series against Mississippi State and Auburn, who Auburn is no slouch when it comes to just being a team to pull off upsets in the tournament, and then or even in baseball. But then you look at a Florida team who got swept by South Carolina, lost a series to Texas A&M, won a series between those two against Missouri, swept them, and then they swept Vanderbilt and take a full series against Kentucky after only losing the second game. So, I mean, this Florida team came out ready with a vengeance in their last 2, and especially getting a win at home in Gainesville against Vanderbilt, winning a series on the road against Kentucky, which both teams are very good this year. I think that out of these top 4 teams, I would still like to say if LSU could get their bullpen under control and figure it out, I would think that LSU has the offensive power, and especially if you get Scanis still rolling as strong as he is, I think that LSU could kind of come out and take the SEC back. So I'm going to have to roll with the Tigers on this one for the SEC. I say they come out, and I think it'll be a Florida LSU matchup in the championship, though.
I think it'll be a South Carolina LSU, but LSU still winning.
You can't really get that because South Carolina.
Sure you can.
No. Interesting.
You can make a loser bracket run. Good try though.
Nice.
Facts.
Get wrecked.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Time to receive absolute AIDS.
Jay?
I said Arkansas.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I think Arkansas can do it.
Sure, dude.
But now it's time to receive absolute AIDS from pools A, B, C, and D from the ACC tournament that have 3 teams in each. Okay. So Pool A, Wake Forest, Notre Dame, Pitt.
Yep.
Pool B, Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia Tech. Pool C, Clemson, Boston College, Virginia Tech. Pool D, the U, Duke, NC State. I want to make it easy for myself and just say Wake Forest wins, because I just don't even want to look at how it's all going to play out.
Oh my goodness.
Nope. I just want to say Wake Forest. I hope they just carry the momentum into the postseason. Even if they don't, they're still the number 1 overall seed. And nope, I'm not doing it.
One thing that I don't get about this
Besides the whole fucking thing
is each team only gets 2 games. They don't even round robin in the pool.
That is correct.
Because they hate us. That's why. This is slowly working up to be my least favorite conference just because of this reason.
So here,
mad respect for some of these teams, but what are we doing?
So here, we'll lay this out on how these are going to go. So on Tuesday to open up the tournament, you've got Virginia Tech versus Boston College for game 1. Georgia Tech versus North.
By the way,
what?
It's a 10 versus 6 in terms of seeding.
Yes, and so Mikey, if you can do the seeding here for me, I'll read off the games 1.
Yeah, I could.
Okay. So in game 1, you got Virginia Tech versus Boston College, which is a 10 versus 6.
6. Yep.
Then you have Georgia Tech versus North Carolina.
11 versus 7.
Duke versus NC State.
5 versus 9.
Duke's to 5.
Yep.
Duke's the 5. Yep.
Throwing it to Wednesday, you've got Pitt versus Notre Dame.
12 versus 8.
Yeah.
Virginia versus Georgia Tech.
2 versus 11.
Clemson versus Virginia Tech.
3 versus 10.
And then the number 1 seed overall does not play until Thursday. They get the first 2-day bye. They got game 1 on Thursday, Wake Forest versus Pitt.
1 versus 12.
Tar Heels versus Virginia.
7 versus 2.
And then you've got Miami, NC State to round out Thursday's set of games.
4 versus 9.
Throwing it now to Friday, you got Boston College versus Clemson.
6 versus 3.
Duke versus the U.
5 versus 4.
And then you've got Notre Dame versus Wake Forest.
8 versus 1. What in the world?
So, but here's the thing. So for the semifinals, your pool winner, so your best record in your pool after those games that you play, it's A versus D, and then B versus C, and then the winner of that game goes to your championship. So in a perfect world here, we'll give Wake Forest wins pool A. There you go. Congratulations, Wake Forest. We're giving you that for a day.
Then they would face the winner of either Miami, Duke, or NC State. I think actually Duke could come out of that.
I'm looking at Duke very heavy.
I would have said Duke, but I think it's a Miami thing.
And then out of
does it really matter though? I feel like we all know Wake Forest is going to come out here. At least we suspect.
Yeah, I'm pulling with Wake Forest.
I'm saying.
I mean, they have been. Mikey's going with Pitt.
I don't know. I was thinking Georgia Tech to come out of Pool B because I got them coming to Omaha.
Yeah.
How's that big looking, buddy?
Hey, they made the postseason, baby. Come on now.
All 12 teams.
Give it to them, baby. Hey.
Oh my gosh. I got Wake Forest and that hellacious pitching staff coming out on top of the ACC and taking the number 1 overall in the regional bracket when that gets announced in a week.
I think it's gonna be a Wake Forest Clemson tournament.
That's fair. That's pretty good.
I can see that.
Or Boston College somehow comes out of there.
Which
they haven't been terrible.
Yeah. No, and
I mean Boston College comes out, wins the whole damn thing.
Just lays it on Wake Forest. Just like
there is a possibility for that.
Rules them in the championship game.
Oh my gosh, that would be
35-13, like that one game. Or whatever the score was of that.
Yeah. What is that now? Like the 4th 30-plus game this year? 3rd?
What was that? The 31 to whatever?
14 or something like that?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We did it.
I think it'll be interesting. Next Sunday will be interesting. I mean, you obviously have the 30 conference winners.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it's just who's going to be the remaining.
Well, and it also depends, too, because if one team wins the regular season and the tournament, then they get, what is it? Then it falls to like the runner-up in their conference, or is it then just another at-large?
No, you would. I think if you won the regular season and you won the conference, then I think you're obviously the number one in from the tournament win. But I don't know. I think it would depend on the conference because, like, if you look at the ACC, I mean, the ACC this year has not been anything to cringe at. Because I mean, Clemson has now hopped into the. They've been in the top 10 for the last couple of weeks here, but they've been playing really hot baseball. You've got
Duke and Boston College have been in the top 25.
Duke and BC are there. Miami's in the top 25. So, I mean, you've got 4 teams here potentially that are vying for hopefully an at-large bid, which I see at least one of them getting that. Whether or not it's going to be the runner-up or whether or not they're just going to take the safe bid and pick Clemson to be that since they were a 6 seed. If Clemson loses, though, the tournament and you're going to pick them as the 2nd seed to represent the ACC at an at-large, then I don't think Clemson gets a top 16 national seed. I think that you would just put them in whatever rank seed they get, unless obviously they still remain in the top 16. But that's for the committee to decide. I do have 2 more tournaments to go over since we've got the relevant teams here and at least one relevant person. We'll run through the Sunbelt really quick because there we go. So Coastal Carolina gets the game won by. They're the number 1 seed overall, winning the regular season outright for, I believe, back-to-back years. Southern Miss is the 2. Or no, Coastal didn't win last year on the regular season, did they? No. Was it Southern? I think Southern Miss did. Either Southern Miss or Texas State.
We're the 10 seed?
Yep. So how this one plays out is
Coastal Carolina championship calling it.
Old Dominion wins the Sunbelt?
No.
Oh.
No, they make it to the championship.
I got to be realistic. They make the championship as far as they go.
Okay. So, but breaking down the seeding, Coastal's 1, Southern Miss are 2. They get first-round buys. Throwing it to your 3 seed, Troy, they got number 6, Appalachian State. Then throwing it to the other side of the bracket, you got Louisiana versus Texas State. Louisiana the 4, Texas State the 5. And then throwing it to the single elimination games, which start tomorrow, so Tuesday, you've got James Madison, number 7, plays number 10, Old Dominion.
Easy wins, easy dubs, baby. You know how it is.
And then you got Georgia State and Georgia Southern 8 versus 9, which Georgia Southern last year was the top 16 national seed. Southern Miss was the top 16 national seed they hosted in Harrisburg. And then you had Texas State making the tournament last year, as well as, I believe, Louisiana and Coastal. So, I mean, Sunbelt was well represented last year. We'll see how that goes.
Old Dominion, here we go.
Old Dominion. The Monarchs, baby.
I think I might have to pick. I think I might have to pick Coastal coming back out. Do the safe bet.
It's a fair bet.
Don't really see a full upset in this one.
Coastal versus who? So they're a great team.
Southern Miss.
No. Yeah. Nah.
Raging Cajuns.
Baby. Old Dominion Lions.
Old Dominion Lions. Okay. Well, we'll see how that goes. Josh, who do you got coming out of the Sunbelt?
Old Dominion Lions.
Coastal. I mean, realistically, Coastal.
You goddamn heathens.
Do have Big Pimpin' for the week. We're actually going to turn this one over to softball.
Ooh.
So, Catherine Sandercock.
Pause. Then you can't say Big Pimpin'.
Yeah, she's Big Pimpin'.
Yeah, she was Big Pimpin'.
Are you kidding me?
No,
You're joking.
You can't say Big Pimpin'. You got to say a different word.
She's pimp.
That's sexualizing women. You can't do that.
Well, we just got
you made it
canceled in 5 seconds.
No.
Nick,
you have to change the word.
Catherine Sandercock for Florida State. Stop. That's her name. You guys are the worst. She was dominant in her pitching performance. She pitched 7 complete innings on 59 pitches. Stop. This is serious. She struck out 5 without a single player hitting a ball into the outfield. She had no runs, no hits, no errors, no walks. Nobody touched first base. Perfection to take Florida State onto the Super Regionals.
This is who?
Or the WCWS.
This is who?
Her name is Catherine Sandercock. Deadly.
Yeah, it is.
I hate you so much.
But kudos to her.
She
I'm
killed
so
it.
sorry.
Yeah.
That is big pimping, but goddamn,
That
your
is
last
big
name is
pimping.
funny. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's safe to say that Sandercock was slanging that thing. I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
She was balling hard.
Big pimping.
She's big pimping. It was absolutely disgusting on the mound. 7 innings in just 59 pitches, striking out 5 and having a perfect game to have Florida State go to the Super Regionals. Phenomenal performance to her. Give her flowers. Fantastic.
Oh my god.
The amount of just to try to keep it family friendly and not do anything.
Keep it family friendly. That's her name.
No,
I can't help that. That's her God-given name.
Just go off the innuendos that are all there.
She's awesome. Killed it.
Yeah.
But yes.
Didn't choke.
So there you go.
I was gonna go through one more tournament here because we had
no, don't even.
It's a top. What?
Wow.
What tournament?
I was gonna go with the Big East. You got UConn. Yeah, UConn stand at number 1. Georgetown.
It's a UConn Creighton tournament every year.
Creighton's not even in the tournament this year, big dog.
They're still there in spirit.
Yeah.
I think UConn's going to win that one.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody else surprises you, fantastic, but I don't know.
I was going to say, then you got Conference USA as well, because we're looking to see if ECU able to pick that up. They're sitting at, I believe, the 3 seed. Yeah, Eastern Carolina. Tulane, I think, is the number 1. Or no, who is the
Green Wave?
Yeah, ECU is going to somehow win something. They're probably not going to do great in the tournament or maybe make it far, whatever. They're going to get a regional bid, and they're either going to lose there or lose in the Supers.
Yep.
I got more tournaments on College Baseball Hub if we want to go through them. Otherwise, we can leave it with the big pimpin' Sandy Cock out.
Sandercock.
Sorry.
Sandy Cock. Not even talking about any other tournaments. It's not even worth it.
You guys are the worst.
That's great.
Okay.
That last name is legendary, bro.
So, again, we do have discount codes. If you go to Shank It Golf, you get 15% off your order. If you go to Dubby, you get 10% off your order using the code Cronyo Media, all one word. I believe all capitalized. But correct. Yeah, so again, for those places, Shank It Golf and Dubby, use those for anything with 10 to 15% off your order. Again, since you're here, please like and subscribe to the No Place Like Homaha podcast. Again, you can find us on all podcasting platforms. So YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever you find things on. You can find us on social media on Twitter and TikTok at Homaha Pod. Stay tuned then again next week or whenever the bracket drops for the regionals.
Should be Sunday night.
We will use the big board.
Yeah. Should be Sunday night.
We will be.
Well, haven't we historically done it Monday?
No,
Selection Sunday.
Are played on
Sunday.
They'll do
Selection Sunday.
That's how they usually do it. They'll get through the conference tournament and then they'll do the Selection Sunday. Usually, I believe, unless they want to wait till Tuesday, because they won't do it on Memorial Day.
Fair.
Oh, facts! I forgot. Have Memorial Day.
Yep. But again, so once that drops, then we will put out our regional predictions, all this kind of stuff. We'll take a look back at who we predicted for the College World Series way before when the season started, and we'll look at that and the possibility of that happening going down the road. So, again,
speaking of that, does somebody have those written down so we can get?
I swear that was your job. That was your job.
Just go rewatch the episode. It'll be fine.
I will. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Love this.
You literally said, "I'm gonna type this up," and you were like, "Screw us," basically. So, okay. All right, it's been real. It's been fun. How's that been real fun?